Hey, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to Access Channel Comics with your host, your boy, The Banks, Corey Banks, and coming at you with a special review episode this week of a certain movie that dropped not too long ago, and that is the Ghostbusters movie. I finally got a chance to catch up on the Ghostbusters movie and see what it's about. I actually didn't plan on going to see the movie, to be honest with you, but I had some extra time on my schedule. Her open time was this past Wednesday. So I was out at the AMC Theater in Charlotte, here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I was doing some shopping, and I thought about it. It just popped in my mind. I said, "That's right, the Ghostbusters movie is playing," and I went and checked, everything, ticket prices, everything. Was the morning time, probably around 11 o'clock in the morning, and AMC Theaters has like $5 matinees in the morning time. So I said, why not? I got me something to eat, and then I went and checked it out. And going into this movie, I just want to talk about, I didn't really have it heavily on my mind, but it was on my mind some. And what was on my mind was this. I know all the controversy that's surrounding the movie. It hasn't been a big deal to me, but I remember coming up on Ghostbusters back in the day, per se. And as you can see, the original is playing back behind me, the 1984 version, one of my favorite movies of all time. Of course, I remember in 1989, the sequel Ghostbusters 2 came out. After Ghostbusters 2, I always wondered if they was going to do a part 3. There was talks for years if they were going to do another version. I was thinking like, okay, the same cast is going to come back, or then again, time has passed by. I said, all right, they're older. Then I heard about like the original cast was going to mentor some younger ones, and of course, later on, Harold Ramis passed away, and one of the creators of the characters. One of the writers, very talented, Harold Ramis, and so it was always up in the air what was going to happen. So then I heard about the all new female cast. A lot of people got in an uproar about that, and I just want to say something. We live in a society today where things become trends more than ever, and I'm not saying it's everybody in the world, but a good majority part of the world, when they get on the internet, when one negative thing is saying, or a certain movie getting clowned or a person, another person feel like they got to do it, where another person clowned a person or said it's negative thing. So I wanted to be open-minded. I'm open-minded when I go see movies. If I like the movie, I come out and say it, not because everybody else is saying it. I'm not going to come out and say I don't like the movie because everybody doesn't like the movie. So I kept that in mind. So I went in, saw the movie. It was a nice fair crowd. It would be the morning time. I was thinking like, yes, kids are out for the summer for school still. It's mid-July. And it was a nice crowd in there, a nice, good crowd too. People focused on the movie. And I must say, this movie, I actually enjoyed the movie. The movie is a good family entertainment, fun movie. It did have some aspects of the old Ghostbusters in there where it kind of reminded me of things I liked when I came up as a kid. And the 4 ladies who starred in this movie had really good chemistry on the screen. And we all know Melissa McCartney is very funny. She's one of my had grown to be one of my favorites. These other ladies also, some of them I don't know a lot about, but I really enjoyed their work. Chris Hemsworth, part of the cast, he was very funny. Chris Hemsworth is a pretty good actor anyway. He's just not known just for Thor. He became very popular because of Thor, but he did a pretty good job, being the good goofy type guy. Now, I will admit, a lot of the men in this movie were either kind of not so smart or goofy, or few were jerks. I'm not going to say it was as many jerks as it was back in the old classic, but I will say this. Kate McKinnon really stole the show. Her character, she definitely portrayed a character actor. Very intelligent, very kind of weird-like, but highly intelligent. She was really putting together the weaponry and everything. She really reminded me a lot of Dan Aykroyd's old character, Ray Stantz, in a kind of a sense. But at the same time, what I liked about it also, these ladies weren't necessarily exactly like the originals. Melissa McCartney wasn't like Bill Murray's character or anything like that. It was just, they had their own type of personalities. The film flowed very nicely. Wasn't too long, wasn't too short. Like I said, plenty of action. New ghost in there. A lot of things that they show retrospective to the old classics. Having the new Ecto one, which was pretty cool. So I just really I enjoyed the movie. I got a good laugh out of the movie, and seeing in this also, and I guess I should have been said this is kind of a spoiler review. I'm not going to get all into detail. Seeing the fact also the original cast had cameos in this movie. Now this is a Ghostbusters movie. From my understanding, I think they're set in another universe. So Bill Murray was in the movie. Had two good appearances, good time length appearances, but he wasn't playing Peter Venkman. Dan Aykroyd had an appearance, but he wasn't playing Ray Stantz, not to my knowledge. It was pretty cool to hearing Dan Aykroyd give the stats. He said it's just a level such and such. These ghosts ain't nothing to worry about. I ain't afraid of no ghosts. He just drove off, and the crowd really liked that. Bill Murray, of course, everybody got a good laughter. He was playing some type of other doctor, but this was set in another universe. It would have been pretty cool with certain things. I would have loved to see them have a picture and be like, "This is the founder of our school." It could have been Harold Ramis or something, a picture of him. But the cameos were very nice and well done. Seeing Bill Murray in there, Dan Aykroyd. Also, towards the end, Ernie Hudson had a cameo. He was the uncle of the young lady who provided the comedic relief. Keep forgetting her name, but they had like the funeral company and everything. Sigourney Weaver had a cameo in it also. Annie Potts had a cameo in it. People really recognize these characters because they were the originals and beloved characters. And everybody was like, "Oh man, this." It was such a great feeling. It's kind of like going back to 2008 and The Incredible Hulk. Even though Bill Bixby passed, they had a nice cameo from one of his old television shows, and the crowd fell in love with that. And so that was very well done. For me, honestly, if I'm ranking this movie on a scale from 1 to 10, honestly, it's kind of hard for me sometimes because I'm not going to say this is an epic movie. It's the greatest movie I've ever seen. It's a good movie. I'm not going to say it was all wow, awesome, whatever, but it's a very good movie. If I'm going to rank it on a scale from 1 to 10, I'm going to be fair and give this between a 7.5 and an 8. Just because of the standard, it's got in there what it was going for. And from my understanding, they do got a sequel in the works, and I say bravo to them. These women held their own, the cast held their own, the people who made this film held their own. And I feel like you got to really give movies a chance. Movies have a harder time these days because there are so many reboots and remakes. But there are a lot of original quality out there also. Sometimes we get caught up where nothing's original anymore. I disagree. I have to agree with John Campea. There are a lot of really original films out there. You may just not be going out to see them. You got to think about it. There's different type of films. Of course, you got your summer blockbusters that's going on right now. Sometimes other parts of the year, the holiday blockbusters. But don't forget about your independent films. Don't forget about films that go to select theaters. Don't forget about your Academy Award nominated and some will be Academy Award winning films. True, some movies around January, that's kind of like the dump season. But still, there's some pretty good films out there. You just have to really pay attention to be going to see them. And if you're not going to see the movies, you're not going to know anything about them. And then with something, let's just say like a Ghostbusters reboot comes out like this, you're dumping on it. Well, be careful not, give it a chance. Because most of us who dump on movies, we're not willing to let our childhood go. Now, don't get me wrong. When I see something made, something I came off of, I do want to see it treated right. It deserves that great handling. But at the same time, I remember, hey, I got my original copy of the original movie in my collection, or if it's rebooted. But at the same time, I keep in mind, this is not the version that I came off of, and then to a certain extent, it's okay with that, which means it's not going to be exactly like how I remember it. For example, I love Christopher Reeve's Superman. Always will hold a special place in my heart. But I understand Henry Cavill's Superman also. I understood Henry Cavill's Superman from the very beginning of Man of Steel. He is going to grow into that Superman we all know. And I do believe we're going to get that in the next Justice League movie. It's kind of like if we can go back to a time travel and see Michael Jordan when he was younger. We were like, this guy is good. Or in some ways, wait, this is not the Mike we all came to know exactly. He's not there yet. But watching him grow, he's going to get to that level. And that's what you got to remember about characters sometimes. You got to let them get to that level. And so with Ghostbusters, I enjoyed the movie. Like I said, I give it between a 7.5 and 8. It's kind of hard for me to totally decide. I'm not going to rank it as a 3 or a 6 or anything like that, because to me, it doesn't deserve that. To me, the movie got what it was going out for. Um, and so I would like to know if you've seen Ghostbusters. What are your thoughts about it? Put your comments at the bottom. I would really like to know your thoughts about it. And right now, it's a very busy time in the entertainment business. Comic-Con is this weekend. And it's going on, festivities going on right now. If any of you going, I'm not making it this year, so I'm kicking myself right now. So, hey, maybe next year, and also make some other Comic Cons in other cities and states. But I would love to know if you're having fun out there. Let us know how everything is going and where everything like that. A lot of big things coming up. Me personally, I think this is the time DC Comics could definitely capitalize. I'm hoping they show a nice Wonder Woman trailer or teaser or something. At least a teaser. I'm hoping they do some Justice League stuff. Doesn't have to be a lot, but at least give us a little something. Maybe a minute or two teaser of Justice League. This would be a good time to capitalize, because San Diego Comic-Con is the biggest of Comic-Cons. This is where you present your stuff. This is like the Super Bowl of Comic-Cons. So I like to see a lot of stuff like that. But like I said, overall about the Ghostbusters movie, I'm not going all big and huge into it, but I did enjoy the movie. It's something. Am I going to see it again? Maybe. I'm not going to go necessarily to the movies to see it again, unless something I would take, like my nephew, if he wanted to see something like that, or sometimes you take kids, but it's not something I'm just going to go back and see on my own. Probably see it again one day, maybe when it comes out to own or something like that. But it's a good film, and also to pass time by. But didn't plan on going to see that, but I do plan on going to see Star Trek Beyond tomorrow. I'm going to check out Star Trek Beyond. I went to see the Star Trek reboot in 2009, enjoyed it in the theaters, and then I went to see Star Trek Into the Darkness. To me, Star Trek Into the Darkness was more of like an episode, but I enjoyed it some couple of years back. So now I'm going to go see the third one, Star Trek Beyond. Definitely look forward to that. And in a couple of weeks, of course, the highly anticipated Suicide Squad, August the 5th. Definitely going to go check that out. But anyway, that's where I want to wrap things up today. Click the subscribe button to this channel. Put your comments at the bottom, any comments, questions that you may have. And just remember, Access Channel Comics encourages you to be good to yourself and be good to others. Also remember, Access Channel Comics wants to remind you also that there are many, there are few, but there are none like you. And that's what's going to wrap it up today, and we'll see you next time. Peace.